Capricorns, your March energy is here. Let's have an aligned astro chat about it. Hello, all. Stacy, the Black Feather Intuitive, and welcome to your Transformational Tarot for the month of March for Capricorn. Caps, this is Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and also if there is a Capricorn that you have in your life that you love. What a great way to try to understand them better and to be in flow with what they're going through. So today we are going to be pulling a card, an overarching theme from the Sacred Creators Oracle deck from Chris Ann. And the card deck that stood out to me for you guys today is the Woven Path Tarot. Forgive me, I don't remember who the creator is, and the box is in a box. So without further ado, let's get to it. Okay, so as I am shuffling up to get an overarching theme for you guys, just really excited to announce that finally, after 11 years, YouTube has finally deemed me worthy to offer memberships. And so if you are interested in taking the conversation deeper and becoming a fabulous Phoenix, click that join button, check out my 3 tiers, and yeah, we'll have a lot of fun. Okay, so your card for March is Collaboration of Souls. This is really interesting. We are in the age of Aquarius right now. We are on the precipice of, sort of shifting some things over. And I really do believe that community is the big message right now. Becoming more communal, not being afraid to ask for help, not being afraid to involve other people or ask other people to assist you in bringing your dreams to life. And I feel like March is a month where you are going to find a lot of support, a lot of people who are going to say yes. What an exciting thing to have happen, because that doesn't always happen all the time, right? Especially for those of you who are used to just kind of, doing the thing by yourself because it's easier, or, you move really quickly, you process things quickly, or you just have a lot of things on your plate. I love that it's a collaboration of souls as well. So there is that spiritual element to this. There is that element of purpose. And when others are helping you to fulfill your purpose, it's very likely that you are giving them an opportunity to find or fulfill theirs. And so I feel that there is a lot of reciprocity if you allow that flow into your life this month. Okay, so now where are you in your transformational journey presently? What part of you is shifting, rising, or dissolving? Okay, so this card, this deck has additional cards as well. So not only is it the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith tarot, but it also has all of the astrological signs, and it also has some gods and goddesses in it. And you've pulled the Virgo card. Now, how interesting. Caps and Virgos are both earth energies and earth signs. So where are you presently? You're really focused on the day-to-day tasks. You've been very focused on trying to bring your focus in, keeping your world small for a time. And I feel that for a lot of you, that has been intentional, either throughout the course of your entire life or in one or two particular areas of your life. You have recognized, I'm spread too thin, or I've just got a lot of things going on. And so I need to kind of narrow the focus and really make sure that I'm dotting the I's and crossing the T's. And here we have a beautiful Virgo woman who is, looks like she's baking. She's mixing something up, but she's not paying attention specifically to what it is she's mixing. It almost looks like she's looking out a window, or maybe she's looking at the oven to see if the oven is, heated to the right temperature. She's distracted, but she looks very content and very happy. And I feel like that is kind of the goal that you want to be working towards, Capricorn, is that this doesn't have to be an intense focus on the day-to-day. It can be where you are seeking out more joy in the experience. So saying, I'm enjoying the fact that my world is a little small right now because I know where everything is at. I know what my focus is, and I'm taking pleasure in the little things, taking pleasure in that journey. Now, the question here is what part of you is shifting, rising, or dissolving? I feel like, Caps, you're dissolving simply because you finally surrendered to the fact that, yeah, I'm capable of doing 57,000 things all at once, but is it really enjoyable? Is it at present serving my purpose? Yes, it can be a superpower, but it can also be a hindrance, right? It can also get in my way. So I feel like this is a time for you here to dissolve some of that, bigness, some of that, I've got to be all things to all people. And there's a component here as well in your present moment where you are looking at why you choose to do that. Why am I expanding in these ways? Why do I take on 57,000 different things? Do I feel that I need to in order to, feel like I matter? Have I overcommitted myself? Do I truly, genuinely gain a lot of satisfaction and joy from all of that? I feel like some of that is actually going to shift. So we talk about dissolving, but also a little bit of shift. But you can't shift until this is dissolved. So the shift wants to happen, but the dissolve has to happen first. And I feel like that's where you're at present. Interesting. Okay, the catalyst for you. What's fueling or hindering your transformation? And is this resistance or rocket fuel? 8 of coins. Okay, so another earth sign. Pentacles are connected to the earth. And when we're talking about the catalyst, it's kind of like what I was speaking to earlier. Where have you overcommitted? Where have you taken on so much work and promised a lot of things to a lot of people that you're now finding it, taxing to actually get it done? Caps, you can take on a lot of stuff. You can handle a lot of things for a lot of people. You're built that way. You're built to build things. You're built to provide structure, to create structure, to maintain structure. So that part isn't of issue. The question is, are you getting caught up in trying to see things through to the end? Or are you now being in a situation where you're recognizing, okay, I've made all of these things for everybody else. Where's my cookie? And I feel like as we're looking at this, we've got a kind of a hybrid spider being going on here. Spiders are about the creativity. They're workhorses, right? Because they're always weaving a web. They're always, scrounging for food or looking for, whatever it is. They're always in motion, right? Or not always, but most often you see them in motion doing things. I feel like this card is indicating that she has decided to take one of these pentacles for herself, and she is making something that is a little more practical for her. She's learning how to use the loom and to weave. She's weaving, so this is a new web, and I feel like new is the key. She's not building a home. She's building, maybe this is a banner, maybe it's a blanket that she's creating. Maybe it is a gift, for another person that she really truly cares about, and she's wanted to give this gift for so long. So when we talk about the catalyst, I feel like March is a month that's going to present you with the opportunities to really pay attention to who you're in service to, why you're in service to them, and then to determine whether or not that actually is what you want to be doing, and to take some time out to do something for yourself. You've created these 8 pentacles. There's nothing wrong with keeping a pentacle or 2 for yourself, right? There's also a component here. We talked about the creativity. I feel, Capricorns, like you've been feeling maybe, and this is a general reading, take what works for you, leave the rest behind if it doesn't resonate. Some of you have been feeling a bit stunted in your creative flow. Some of that is because you've had a lot of irons in the fire. You've had a lot of responsibilities, things of that nature that, are kind of overloading you. And if we don't have space for it in our life, how can we be creative, or energy in our life? How can we be creative? But I also feel here like March is a month that is maybe going to be encouraging you to get creative in the ways that you get creative. So March feels like the kind of month where you're going to be challenged to do things brand new, differently, trying new approaches, trying new places to buy things, trying new grocery stores, trying a new neighborhood. If you're looking for a place to live, don't go to the places where you feel comfortable. Don't go to the places that are predictable, that your besties would say, well, of course you would choose that place. That place is so you. I don't know why, but I'm really feeling like this is a time where you need to be kind of throwing a little spaghetti at the wall to see what sticks. You know how to do all of this stuff. So take what you know and apply it to an environment that you don't know. I feel like that's the challenge. That's going to be the challenge for you moving forward, especially in the next 6 months. But this is also happening right now because there is an up-leveling that is required, but you're not getting the messages or the information because you're doing all the things in all the same ways. So the creativity is not unlocked, not being unlocked. Deep root, what deep belief, wound, or soul contract is driving this transformation under the surface? This is the one that's standing out to me right there. Oops. Oh, we have an upside down one. Sorry about that. Oh, so you've got 2 8s in a row. This is 8 of Cups. So when we are talking about the deep root, there's a big part of you, Caps, that are afraid to let things go. You're afraid for people to leave you. You're afraid for jobs to come to a natural conclusion. You're afraid, and this is on a subconscious level, okay? So, consciously, you're like, screw that. I'm ready for something new, and, I can do this and whatever. Subconsciously, these are the things that affect us, that we don't, the stories that our bodies tell, the stories that our ego speaks, but it's subtle. We don't always recognize it unless we're actually looking for it and intentionally listening for it. So with this 8 of Cups coming through, I feel like this is a bit of the challenge that you want to take on, is what in my life can I absolutely walk away from? Maybe I walk away from it temporarily just to see how it feels. Maybe I make the choice to walk away from it fully and completely. I don't know that you necessarily have to be harsh or extreme with yourself about this. I do feel that you can make it a bit of an experiment and say, okay, I'm used to doing this thing or having this thing all the time. When I tap into myself, it does feel a bit like it's a security blanket, because when I think about letting it go, I get a little anxious. So that is the experiment that I'm going to choose now, is what does it feel like to walk away? I think often about, this happened to me years ago when I was still living in Canada and living on my own, and coming to the realization that, everyone in my life had decided to couple up and have babies. And I was in a real transition. I was not finding, healthy partnership. I didn't know if that was what I wanted. I knew I didn't want kids. And I was, wanting to explore the world, and my, circle of friends just wasn't, kind of cutting it. And so this was the time when I really discovered how much I enjoyed the experience of wine and wine tastings. But, like anything, you find a balance, and sometimes you're on this side of the balance and sometimes you're on that side of the balance. And there was a point in my life where I recognized, there are a lot of empty wine bottles in my recycle bin than there are, there really should be in a month's time, and so maybe I need to just kind of step back. And so I did a little experiment for myself, and I said, okay, I'm going to not drink wine for 30 days because I want to see if I can do it. Has this become a problem? Have I started using wine as a crutch, as an avoidance for, the things going on in my life and how I've been feeling? And I went that 30 days, and I went another 30 days after that. And I realized, oh yeah, no, I'm fine. This isn't as bad as I thought, or, I don't have an addiction to this. But it's good that I did the experiment, because I answered a lot of questions for myself that there was some fear underneath about that. Have I become dependent on alcohol? I have alcoholism in my family. So that was a concern of mine. So just offering this as an analogy, that some of these cups, you want to ask, is there a fear around me, even if it's just temporarily letting it go? Is there a fear connected to it? Because if there's a fear connected to it, that's definitely something that I want to walk away from, even if only temporarily, to see that I can do it, or to understand a little bit more about what it is that I am wounded by, or that I need to release, or need to understand about it. So that's why that 8 of Cups is coming through. And you may discover 3 or 4 of these, 8 cups have a little bit of fear associated with it. Don't panic. You don't have to do the experiment with everything all at once. Choose one and start there, and just notice what you notice. Some of these cups, you'll be like, oh yeah, I'm so ready to let this go. Listen to that, honor that. But I do feel like March is a month where you're going to have quite a few opportunities to explore this. And I encourage you to definitely explore it. It's going to serve you well on the other side, especially because we are in an eclipse season now. An eclipse season is about a reset. An eclipse season doesn't let us get away with shit. So better to be intentional about it and feel like you have a little more control over what it is that you're, releasing, and how you are applying that into your life. Okay, what is dying away? What role pattern or identity has run its course? Yeah, all of this, Caps, is really tied to control. Where do I feel in control? Where do I feel out of control? Where am I trying to grab control? What am I trying to release control of? It's all about control. Here's the thing. When we say that this is dying away, it's dying away because you're making the choice to focus on the mastery of your life and of your patterns. So when we talk about the role pattern or identity, if you feel out of control, maybe you don't feel as though you matter so much, or you don't have a sense of who you are for others or to others in your life. This is the thing that you want to focus on, because you, just as you are, without lifting a finger, without doing a thing, are worthy, are enough. You don't have to always go the extra mile. You don't always have to, hold the mountain up for everybody else. This is a time to really evaluate. Again, focus, make the world a little bit, bring it into focus, make it a little bit smaller, so that you can really get clear on who you are really wanting to be, how you are really wanting to show up in the world. I'm really drawn to all of the yellow in this card as well, because yellow is that solar plexus chakra, our mastery, identity, personal power, co-creation, boundaries, and transformational energy. And that's exactly what is transpiring. The difference is here, you're collaborating with people in order to be able to do this. But we haven't seen a lot of collaboration yet. What we're seeing right now is a lot of individual reflection on what needs to stay and what needs to go, so that you can then be very clear on what it is that you would like to collaborate with other souls with, right? That spiritual journey, that spiritual deep dive. Highest Phoenix potential. What can rise from the ashes? What is your soul calling you toward? This is your breakthrough energy. Okay, so you got your card. This is the Capricorn card. Look at all the beautiful colors in here, Caps. I feel like so March, you're not gonna find your identity in March. Well, some of you might, but I feel like this is the starting off point, right? March is bringing to you the energy of really being able to see all of the facets of you. Maybe you typically only operate in this color. It's interesting that I was just drawn to the red. Red is root chakra, resources, feeling safe and secure, having your needs met. Feeling like maybe you haven't been feeling that, not necessarily across the board, maybe just on an emotional level, maybe on an energetic level, maybe on a physical level, feeling like you don't have all the things that you need. And what I keep hearing here is part of that is because you've forgotten all of the colors that you do have access to, all the colors that make up the person that is you. We've got the yellow, so much yellow again. And we just talked about the yellow. You've got this white and this pink, which is source energy, spirit energy. I love that it's on the head of you, right? So it's like your crown chakra, your third eye chakra. This is how Source wants to speak to you. And Source wants to speak to you and through you so that you have access to, look at, you've got green that is supporting you, greens with a little hint of purple around here. You've got a lot of foliage here, so lots of abundance, lots of growth, like solid growth, new growth. You've got beautiful purple energy, which is that third eye chakra space. It's luxury, it's royalty energy. You've got blues up here, speaking your truth. You've got orange in the horns here, in your, the mountain goat horns. So I feel like this is coming up in a really big way because it's reminding you of all of the multifacets of you, all of the things that, all the resources that you have at your fingertips. And it doesn't always have to be directed outward to other people. It can be about you. So when we talk about this breakthrough energy, I've spoken a lot about the growth, the green. Green is also healing. And I feel like that's in many ways what is transpiring here for you, is pointing out the areas where healing can really happen, and it can happen quickly if you are putting your focus and your attention to those things. So you're moving into a space of healing where you are going to be releasing a lot of stuff, but you're releasing it so that you can open up into something new that is going to be more fulfilling, and you're going to be given a lot of opportunity to be able to collaborate, to ask other people to help you out with your dreams and goals. This is about figuring out what those dreams and goals are, giving yourself permission, to ask for help, to ask for those things. Next step, what's emerging just around the corner? What energy or experience is coming in to support the next phase? Another seven of coins. So this is the rewards and the burdens that go with it. So when we're talking about what's emerging, I feel like very much what's emerging here is you. These are all of your wishes, hopes, dreams, and desires. You planted this and you did it by yourself because you were afraid to ask other people to help you out, or because you felt like, from a control perspective, it's just easier to do it myself than it is to reach out and ask for help from another. This card is coming through to say, this is too much for you to go through and harvest all by yourself. Now we're stepping into the energy of the collaboration. You're understanding more so now what's making you tick and how you want to shift either into that or out of that and through it onto the other side. Now with the 7 of coins, it's recognizing, okay, I've identified the areas of growth that I need to focus on. I've also identified what is ready for me to be able to step into and work on. And as a result of that, now it's time to bring some people into the mix. Now it's time to ask for that help. And again, I feel, Caps, like this is a month. Maybe you're feeling a little vulnerable to ask for help. Maybe you really are concerned that nobody's going to be willing to step up and help you. I want to say, I feel like this is the month of surprise. You're going to be surprised at, when you ask or when you reach out, people are going to say, oh my God, yes, of course I would love to help you out with that. Thank you so much for asking me. What do you need, or how can I assist you? So there's still going to be a bit of courage on your part to reach out and ask for help, but this is the month where you're going to receive the yeses. I feel just so strongly about that. This is a month where you're going to learn that maybe you've been holding yourself in a, sort of a glass box for a while, that there are people and have been people all along that have wanted to be able to assist. And you just, because of the perspective that you were in, or the way that you viewed things, or that you were just stuck in a previous pattern, you didn't realize that this was available to you, but it's here now. And this is great. Your role in this shift, you in this process, how are you navigating this transformation? Are you resisting, flowing, grieving, or boldly rising? We have the Magician. Definitely, I feel that this is a month, if you choose it, to boldly rise. The Magician says, I've got all of these resources. We just talked about resources here. I've got all of these resources. I have recipe books. So let me use the recipe books, and I can tweak the recipe and perfect the recipe as I go. But this is where, okay, I've got the help I need. It's like a Matryoshka doll here. I've got multiple people that are willing to help me out, even if that just means they're holding space for me. It's a bowl, it's a receptacle, it's what do you call that? It's a chalice, right? A cup. Even if you're just holding space for me while I'm doing this makes me think of years ago. Again, for some reason, I'm giving you analogies from when I was living back in Canada. But I was, I had 3 different businesses, plus I was working outside of the home, just doing a lot of things in the process of trying to, figure myself out and what lit my fire and floated my boat at the time. And the thing that I don't do well is math. I don't do numbers well. It's not like I can't balance a budget book or manage my finances. I can. I just hate having to do it. Like all of that detail work, the dollars and cents makes me crazy. And so this makes me think of tax time. I would say every year I would be like, okay, this year I'm going to do it differently. And I've created a folder for each month, and every month on one particular day I'm going to go through those receipts so that it doesn't build up over the year, and then I'm like super anxious because I got 75,000 things and whatever. And every year I wouldn't do it because I would just avoid it. And then I would be sitting there crying like, oh my God, I've got so much work to do. Well, what I started at that point to do was I would call over a friend and say, listen, I just need you to sit with me, keep me company while I have to go through all of this, because otherwise I'm not going to do it and I'm just going to cry about it. That's kind of what this feels like is, even if that's the support that you're asking for, is you just want a little company while you're getting something done, all the way to, yes, I really need your help because I don't know how to do this thing, or I really don't want to do this thing and I need some support, or I don't, whatever, I need some support. So that I feel is what is transpiring here is you want to understand where you need that little extra boost and then ask for that, because it's going to be given to you. People are going to absolutely say, yes, I'm more than happy to help you out with that. And they're going to do it with a smile, and they're going to do it with love. They're going to do it with compassion, and to let you know that they really do care about you. And you'll be surprised at how they're going to say, thank you for letting me help you. So that's kind of interesting. Circles of support. Who or what is influencing your transformation right now? And is it a positive or negative influence? Ooh, 10 of Swords. So emotionally, Caps, you're tired of being taken advantage of. Whether you're inviting it in yourself or whether it's happening, to you on a regular basis. And again, we're not talking extremes here. This could be just in one area of your life, but you're tired of that energy. And I feel like when you start to express that and you reach out for help, I feel like the support system is going to say, so glad you finally come to this realization. I didn't know how to help you, or, I've tried to help you in the past and, didn't want to step on your toes or didn't quite know how, to be able to be of service to you. So I'm so glad that you're saying, I'm done, stick a fork in me, because now I can come in and I can work my magic. I can use my zone of genius to help you with yours. Also, what's interesting here is, we have the lion, the pride of the lion, and then, the king of the jungle or whatever. And the crown has fallen off. Here's the thing. I feel like there is, Caps, there is a bit of like the risk that you need to access here, the bravery to take the risk. It does mean that you are going to feel a little more vulnerable. It does mean that you're going to take the crown off of I can be all things to all people, and you're going to admit, yeah, I have my my faults and my foibles as well. It feels like it's a very tender moment, whether it's a tender moment within you or it's a tender moment with you and the reflections of the the people that are trying to help you out. I feel like there's going to be a real aha moment that comes through with this, because you're going to see that you do have support. You do have people that are wanting to help you out, and it's going to make it really obvious to you where you have not allowed people in. Now, again, general reading, take what works for you, leave the rest behind. If it resonates, awesome. And if it doesn't, awesome. there's a lot of this, I want to say, clarity that's going to be coming up around where you have really been in a space of control that perhaps you weren't aware of how much that played a part in your healing or your not healing, right? We all have those wounds within us. And this is a month where all of those wounds are, well, not all, but you've been picking and choosing wounds to deal with. And this is what is coming up. The beauty of the Ten of Swords is it's kind of a phoenix rising energy. It's basically saying, okay, this is dead, done, gone, and over with. You don't have to put any more time or energy into it because you're getting ready to birth into something new. So this is actually a happy card, even though it doesn't look very happy. It really is a happy card because, yeah, it's knocking you down a peg or two, maybe some ego related stuff, control related issues that are coming up. But ultimately, it's helping you to shift your perspective. It's not, I have to do all of these things in order for, me to be approved of. It's more of a, oh, I don't need anyone else's approval. So now I'm doing this because I'm finding the joy in it. Now I'm doing this because, it brings me fulfillment, or I enjoy helping others, and I enjoy helping others specifically in this way. So I'm going to continue to do this. Hopes and fears. Who are you dreaming of becoming, and what scares you about actually doing it? So this is you again. Wow, Caps. Oh my God. So the devil is your card, right? It's the Capricorn card. This is a month that is really going to be putting a lot of focus and energy onto you, who you're choosing to become. The devil is the shadow work. The devil is the ego. The devil is also the rebel. And what I keep hearing, again, take what works for you, leave the rest behind. How has you going against the grain been helping you? How has it been hindering you? And right now, as I'm looking at this card, what I'm actually feeling, I'm a rebel at heart. I try to, to go against the grain, just to go against the grain sometimes to make sure that I keep those skills sharp. Because I'm a recovering people pleaser, right? I feel like this is the exact opposite message for you guys. It's recognizing where maybe you are getting in your own way, where patterns and cycles that you have been, we've been talking about that you've been stuck in, or that you've been operating from, are now rebelling against your own best interests. So when this comes up, yes, you're dreaming of becoming yourself. You're dreaming of fully embodying who you are on the inside, and not being so afraid to kind of show that or share that or shine that out in the world. Absolutely. But I feel also like the devil, has secrets. The devil keeps things under wraps. The devil has a way of presenting things to the ego that is a little under the radar or not exactly truthful, sins of omission versus sins of commission, right? And I feel like when we're talking about the hopes and fears, you're really worried that by exposing yourself, by being a little more vulnerable, by letting people in whatever capacity this resonates with you in your life, you're worried that your secret is going to be exposed, that everything's going to fall apart, that you're going to lose this illusion of feeling self-contained and being put together and all the things and the stuff. And I'm going to say to you, because March has that eclipse energy in it, it is what it is, right? It is what it is. So I want to say, add a little bit of surrender and self-love and self-care to the mix here. Allow things to tumble to the ground as they might and as they will. You will have support. You will have people that'll help you through that. But it's time to not be rebellious against your own best interests. And I feel like this is the month where you're learning and figuring out what those best interests actually are. Not what you think they are, but what they actually are. Okay, sorry, I just took a look at this at the clock, and wow, this is a really long reading, so I apologize, but you got a lot going on this month. Okay, outcome of the transformation. If you stay on course here in March, who will you be on the other side of this journey? What is the result of embracing the full death and rebirth cycle? Yeah, more focus, feeling more focused, Five of Wands energy. These trees, these wands, right? The trunks, the tree trunks, they're all sitting around and they're having conversation. Yeah, this guy's got a lot to say. This guy is like, hey, I'm just trying to explain myself. This one's looking at this one going, whoa, okay, there's a lot that's happening here. I feel like this card for me, when I look at Five of Wands, is a card of scattered energies, or it's a card of focus, depending on how you're looking at it. And we can have healthy discord. In fact, I feel like this one that's kind of screaming the loudest and wanting to be heard is a part of you that is starting to come out. Maybe the part of you that you've kind of kept hidden, or you've been trying to keep it under control, keep it under wraps. Well, it's coming out this month, but it doesn't have to come out it can come out in a safe space. I feel like this is a safe space for this voice to come out. And again, this is your circles of support, right? This is the people that you're asking for help, and you're just saying, I can't do it anymore. And everyone is coming around you, they're listening, and they're saying, okay, no worries. We can help you. We can figure it out. Like, get it out of your system now, and then let us help you kind of pick up the pieces and find a way to move forward. So I feel like by the end of this month, you are going to find a little more focus within yourself. You're going to find a direction, and you're going to be, I want to say, fired up about it. There's going to be passion connected to it. Now, some of that might be passion for, like, I never want to be in this situation again. Some of that passion could be, oh, now that this is out, I now have space to understand what it is that's actually going to light my fire and float my boat as I move forward. So there's going to be focus. There's going to be clarity around what that focus will be. Now, this is at the end of the month, I feel, is what is transpiring. So this is the energy that you're going to be leaning into April with. So understand that clarity and that focus is going to be like a little blip. And then from there in April, you're going to kind of want to, grow upon it. You're going to want to let it bloom, blossom, and grow. March is the month where you're working towards that focus. So interesting, collaboration of souls. Your result at the end of the month is a circle of support that is going to hold whatever it is that you're releasing. And better out than in. Better out than in. Okay, Caps, that is your transformational tarot for the month of March. If you need any help, support, or guidance, click on the link below, book a session with me. It's what I do. I'm more than happy to help you out to navigate what it is that you're going through with a lot of love, a lot of support, a lot of compassion, and a lot of clear direction and guidance. Otherwise, like, subscribe, click the bell on my YouTube channel, check out the join button. Also, please share this video with anyone that you feel could benefit from this type of guidance. I can't grow this channel without you, and I'm so grateful for you. Until I see you for another episode of Black Feather Code Tour, Divining a VIP Life, sending you lots of love and support. We'll see you on the flip side, and transform well.